morning everyone. Today we'll continue lecture class on technique of molecular biology and its application in relation with treatment of genetic diseases. So we'll start with. Now coming to the adult stem cells. An adult stem cell is thought to be an undifferentiated cell found among differentiated cells in a tissue or an organ. The adult stem cell can renew itself and can differentiate to yield some or all the major specialized cell type of the tissue or the particular organ. The primary role of adult stem cell in a living organism are to maintain and repair the tissue in which they are found. The scientists also use the term somatic stem cell instead of adult stem cell, where somatic refer to cells of the body, not the germ cells, not either the sperm or the egg cells. Unlike embryonic stem cells, which are defined by their origin, cells from pre-implantation stage embryo, the origin of adult stem cell in some mature tissue is still under investigation. So differentiation pathways of adult stem cells. So neural stem cells in the brain give rise to its three major cell types, the nerve cell, neurons, and two categories of non-neuronal cells, that is astrocyte and oligodendrocytes. And these epithelial stem cells, which is in the lining of the digestive tract, occur in deep crypts and give rise to several cell types: absorptive cells, globate cells, pennate cells, and enteroendocrine cells. And now, what happened to the skin stem cells? The skin stem cells occur in the basal layer of the epidermis and at the base of the hair follicles. The epidermal stem cell give rise to keratinocyte, which migrate to the surface of the skin and form a protective layer. So the follicular stem cells can give rise to both hair follicle and to the dermis. From the bone, here you can see hematopoietic stem cell, then multipotential stem cells, and it will go to the lymphoid progenitor, then neutral killer, then T lymphocyte, then B lymphocyte. And from these multipotential stem cells, it can go to the myeloid progenitor cells, then give rise to neutrophil, basophil, eosinophil, macrophages, and platelet, as well as the red blood cells. And from this bone marrow, here you can see it can become different type of cells, skeletal stem cells, then hepatocyte, then in the bone or in the cartilage, then hematopoietic supportive stromes, then hematopoietic stem cells, and marrow adipocytes. So what is the advantage of this adult stem cell? Adult stem cells from bone marrow and umbilical cord appear to be as flexible as the embryonic type. Somewhat specialized inducement may be simpler. No immunogenic recipients who receive the product of their own stem cells will not experience immune rejection. And relative ease of procurement, some adult stem cells are easy to harvest, for example, skin, muscle, marrow, and fat cells. And non-tumorigenic tend not to form tumors. No harm is done to the donor, which is in contrast to the embryonic stem cell. It has got limited quantity, can sometimes be difficult to obtain in large number, and its finite may not live as long as embryonic stem cells in culture, and it is less flexible in comparison to embryonic stem cells, may be more difficult to reprogram to form other tissue types. So why are adult stem cells preferable to embryonic stem cells? So adult stem cells are naturally exist in our bodies and they provide a natural repair mechanism for many tissues. And these adult stem cells also belong in the microenvironment of an adult body, while embryonic stem cells belong in a microenvironment of the early embryo, where they tend to cause tumor and immune system reactions. So what is this table shows the comparison of the different sources of stem cells. In case of embryonic stem cells, with attributes in vitro fertilization, then limitations, there are some ethical concerns. Adult stem cells, here the adult tissues, and so this table shows the comparison of the different sources of stem cells, both embryonic stem cells as well as the adult stem cells. So what is this induced pluripotent stem cells? Induced pluripotent stem cells are adult cells that had been genetically reprogrammed to an embryonic stem cell-like state by being forced to express genes and factors important for making the defining properties of embryonic stem cells. Although these cells meet the defining criteria for pluripotent stem cells, it is known as if iPSCs and embryonic stem cells differ in clinically significant ways. And mouse iPSCs were first reported in the year 2006 and human iPSCs were first reported in late 2007. So mouse iPSCs demonstrate important characteristics of pluripotent stem cells, including expressing stem cell markers, forming tumors containing cells from all three germ layers, and being able to contribute to many different tissues when injected into mouse embryo at a very early stage in the development. Whereas human iPSC also express stem cell markers and are capable of generating cell characteristics of three different germ layers. So although additional research is needed, iPSC are already useful tool for drug development and modeling of diseases, and scientists hope to use them in transplantation medicine. Viruses are currently used to introduce the reprogramming factor into adult cells, and this process must be carefully controlled and tested before the technique can lead to useful treatment for humans. In animal studies, the virus used to introduce the stem cell factor sometimes causes the dreaded disease, cancer. So researchers are currently investigating non-viral delivery strategies. In any case, this breakthrough discovery has created a powerful new way to de-differentiate cell whose developmental fate had been previously assumed to be determined. In addition, tissues derived from iPSCs will be a nearly identical match to the cell donor and thus probably avoid rejection by the immune system. So the iPSC strategy creates pluripotent stem cells that, together with studies of other type of pluripotent stem cells, will help researchers learn how to reprogram cells to repair damaged tissue in human body. So this number one, isolate and culture donor cells, and number two, transduce stem cell associated genes into the cells by viral factors. Red cells indicate the cells expressing the exogenous gene. Thirdly, the harvest and culture the cell according to embryonic stem cell culture using mitotically inactivated feeder cells. And number four, a small subset of the transplanted cells become iPS cells and generate ES-like colonies. So what are the sources of these stem cells? Stem cells may be derived from autologous or allogenic or genogenic sources. Histocompatibility is prerequisite for transplantation of allogenic stem cells. Fetal tissue is the best current tissue source for human neural stem cells. However, critical issues are a major concern. A potential source of stem cells are fetal tissue that becomes available after an abortion, excess embryos from assisted reproductive technologies such as commonly used in fertility clinic, embryos created through in vitro fertilization specifically for research purpose, and embryos created asexually as a result of the transfer of a human somatic cell nucleus to an egg with its own nucleus removed. Other sources of stem cells are those from umbilical cord blood and bone marrow. In addition, neural stem cells, hematopoietic stem cell, and mesenchymal stem cells can be harvested from fetal blood and fetal tissue. So placenta is the main source of stem cells. Here, placental stem cells like umbilical cord blood and bone marrow stem cell can be used to cure chronic blood-related disorders such as sickle cell disease, thalassemias, and leukemias. The umbilical cord blood stem cell transplant are less prone to rejection than either bone marrow or peripheral blood stem cell. This is probably because the cells have not yet developed the features that can be recognized and attacked by the recipient's immune system. So this umbilical blood is often stored after birth and cord blood or in the cold storage. So what is the application of these stem cells? Stem cells can be used to study the development, and stem cells may help us understand how a complex organism develops from a fertilized egg. In the laboratory, scientists can follow stem cells as they divide and become increasingly specialized, making skin, bone, brain, and other cell types. Identifying the signals and mechanism that determine whether a stem cell chooses to carry on replicating itself or differentiate into a specialized cell type and into which cell type will help us understand what controls normal development. Also, some of the most serious medical conditions such as cancer and birth defect are all due to abnormal cell division and differentiation. A better understanding of the genetic and molecular control of these processes may yield information about how such diseases arise and suggest new strategies for therapy. This is an important goal of stem cell research. So, stem cells have the ability to replace damaged cells and treat disease. How this property is already used in the treatment of extensive burn and also to restore the blood system in patients with leukemia and other blood disorders. And stem cells may also hold the key to replacing cells lost in many other devastating diseases for which there are currently no sustainable cures. Today, donated tissues and organs are often used to replace damaged tissue, but the need for transplantable tissues and organs far outweighs the availability of the supply. So these stem cells, if they can be directed to differentiate into specific cell type, offer the possibility of a renewal source of replacement cell and tissues to treat disease including Parkinson's, like strokes, the heart diseases, and diabetes. This prospect is an exciting one, but significant technical hurdles remain that will only be overcome through years of intensive research. We have to go on research and research. So stem cell could be used to study diseases. So in many cases, it is difficult to obtain the cells that are damaged in the disease and to study them in detail. Stem cells, either carrying the disease gene or engineered to consider disease gene, offer a reliable alternative. The scientists could use stem cell to model disease process in the laboratory and better understand what goes wrong. Stem cells could provide a resource for testing new medical treatment. New medication could be tested for safety on specialized cells generated in large number from stem cell lines, reducing the need for animal testing. So other kind of cell lines are already used in this way. So cancer cell lines, for example, are used to screen potential anti-tumor drugs. So this is the potential use of stem cells, for example, in the stroke, traumatic brain injury, learning defect, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and sometimes for missing teeth and wound healing, then bone marrow transplantation, which is currently established, and spinal cord injury, and osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, also in Crohn's disease. Then we can even use in baldness and blindness, deafness, and amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, myocardial infarction, muscular dystrophy, diabetes. The use of stem cells can be applied, can be tried in these different diseases. So this table shows the possible use of tissue derived from stem cells to treat disease. Cell type may be neural, maybe heart muscle cell, maybe insulin producing cells, maybe cartilage cells, maybe blood cells, liver cells, skin cells, bone cells, retinal cells, the skeletal muscles. The target disease may be neural cells for stroke, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, spinal cord injury, multiple sclerosis, heart muscle in case of heart attack, congenital heart failure, insulin producing cell in case of diabetes, which is very common, and this cartilage cells, osteoarthritis, which is again very common, especially in the woman after the menopause. Then blood cells, cancer, immunodeficiencies, inherited blood disease, leukemias, the liver cell in case of hepatitis and cirrhosis of liver, and skin cells, burn, wound healing, and bone osteoporosis, again which is very common, and retinal cells, muscular degeneration, and skeletal muscle cells, and muscular dystrophy. So cell therapy, treatment of neuronal disease such as Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, and Alzheimer's disease. Stem cells could be used to repair or replace damaged neurons, repair of damaged organs such as the liver and pancreas, and treatment for AIDS. So how does cell therapy work? So here the sample of bone marrow or stem cell is harvested treated with agents that destroy leukemia cells without harming bone marrow or stem cells, then patients' remaining bone marrow and leukemia cells are destroyed, so bone marrow or stem cells is injected. Stem cell can be used to generate healthy and functioning specialized cells, which can replace disease or dysfunctional cells. In this way, it is similar to the process of organ transplantation, only the treatment consists of transplanting cells instead of organs. So how does cell therapy work? Bone marrow transplant are an example of cell therapy in which the stem cells in a donor's marrow are used to replace the blood cells of the victims of leukemia. Cell therapy is also being used in experiments to graft new skin cells or to treat serious burn victims or to grow new corneas for the sight impaired. In all of these uses, the goal is for the healthy cell to become integrated into the body and begin to function like the patient's own cells. So how therapeutic cloning would work? This diagram shows skin cell is taken from patient's body. Its nucleus contains the patient's genetic code. Then unfertilized human egg cell nucleus is removed. The egg cell, then skin cell DNA inserted into the enucleated egg, and egg divides creating stem cells. And further stem cells would be grown in a culture. This where they could be further turned into specific tissue type such as heart or nerve cell. And finally, cultured tissue cells would then be injected into the patient. New healthy cells would replace diseased one and damaged body tissue, healing the patient. The patient's body would not reject the cell because they would contain the patient's DNA. So what are the obstacles we face during this stem cell research? How to find the right type of stem cell is very difficult, and how to put the stem cell into the right place, and will the stem cell perform the desired function in the body, and differentiation protocol for many cell types have not been developed yet. So embryonic stem cells are unstable and mutate in culture. Like ordinary cell, stem cells accumulate significant number of mutations over time, including several that could cause them to become tumors. Then ethical debate is a strong point here again. So harvesting ES cell destroy the blood cell, and this is a mother. Say for example, ES cell research required human cells could create a commercial market for human cell. This devalues our life. So destroying life to cure someone, it's a big ethical question. So if stem cells have such potential to relieve suffering, why are so many people so upset about their use? The reason is that the most powerful type of stem cell, embryonic stem cell, can only be obtained from the human embryo. So many people think that it is wrong to create and destroy human embryo to treat diseases. There may be also religious debate over harvesting embryonic stem cells. The pro-life group generally believes that personhood happens at or shortly after conception. Thus, they consider the removal of stem cell from an embryo a procedure which kills the stem cell to be a form of murder of a human being. So they argue that no potential health benefit to even hundreds of millions of people can justify the murder of other human. So why we should support? Because this therapy can help several disabled. So human embryonic cell researchers offers great promises of cure for otherwise incurable conditions. So these are some patients. So there are some incurable conditions like spinal cord injury, ALS, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease has been successfully treated by stem cell therapy. So cell we clone human. So there are arguments for and against human cloning research. Should we ban human cloning? Why investors are moving away from human cloning, and why human cloning now looks a last century way to fight disease? Why some people want to clone themselves or even to clone the dead?